Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year. Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. I believe it's the first webinar of the year. It's my first webinar of the year. So it's great to bring in 2024 with you all. Please take a moment, if you can, to type in the chat where you are joining us from, where in the world you're joining us from. I'm joining us from Bodrum, Turkey. So I'll put that in the chat. So let us know where you are. All right, thanks. Okay, great. So you all enjoy, see where we're all connecting from. These webinars are an incredible opportunity for us to collaborate, to connect across time and space and borders. So we appreciate IPDE for helping to facilitate these webinars and these opportunities for collaboration. So again, I want to thank you for being present today, either being here together live or viewing the webinar later. My name is Ramin Yazdanpana, and I have the honor and the privilege to lead us in our webinar today, Cultivating the Mindset, Plan, and Process for Lifelong Learning. So as we all know, the beginning of a new year is a powerful time to set resolutions, goals, intentions. However, as we also well know, it's easy to lose motivation and willpower needed to accomplish those goals. So I hope the resources I present today can help you and others you work with, whether that be your students, your colleagues, yourself, to cultivate a mindset and a plan for the process to sustain learning. So just a few points to know of how to interact today. I'm going to be calling on you all to contribute to the chat. So thank you all for contributing where you're from here. Just scrolling through, we see a lot of Florida represented here today, as well as from Detroit, Michigan. So I'm going to be asking you to participate through the chat to interact, as well as to ask questions, to comment, anything that you'd like to participate. Let's use the chat box. So, because you'll be in listen mode only, really that the more you can engage in the chat, the better. As always, I'd like to thank the positive and brilliant IPDE team for your support, for making this possible here today. They will provide the recording of this presentation as well as a copy of the PowerPoint in PDF format on the IPDE website within 48 hours for review and for sharing. Okay, so keep in mind that all of the resources that I'm going to discuss here today, and there are going to be a lot of resources, they're hyperlinked and they should be active on that PDF for you to click on and access later. So as advertised, this webinar is to support you, your colleagues, your students, if you're currently teaching. And if you're not currently teaching, hold on to this and you can access and apply these resources later. So in this webinar, we will learn and apply strategies for developing your own and supporting others' lifelong learning. I believe that in order to talk the talk, we should also walk the walk. Our own professional development is really inextricably linked with our students' language and professional development. When we are engaged in this process together, we really develop a deeper understanding and empathy for the challenges that are present in our students' lives, as well as celebrate our individual and collective accomplishments. So we will also discuss the why and how of establishing a growth mindset, and we'll look at current research on neuroplasticity to eliminate our understanding of how to implement simple protocols to cultivate a growth mindset in the classroom. So I'll be guiding you through a mindfulness activity to envision and plan for your own personal and professional development. So this is also intended for you to experience the mindfulness activity, so you can share and potentially even lead others, right, in a similar activity um, for accomplishing, for envisioning and then kind of cultivating a plan for life and perhaps academic and professional goals. So I'll make sure to leave some room for your questions, comments, and suggestions. I recognize all of you as peers, as professionals, as experts, as leaders to contribute to our community of practice here. So please feel free to contribute any suggestions, resources as relevant to our discussion today. So finally, all the resources, as I discussed earlier, will be available to you by way of hyperlinks. And it's really my intention to provide content and resources for you to share with your colleagues and with your students. Okay, so if you could please let me know how all of that sounds to you in the chat. Give me a little feedback in the chat for how you're feeling right now, and if you're excited to engage with me on this journey here. Thank you, Monica. Okay, thanks, Jean-Marc. All right, great, fantastic, fantastic. It's 2024, y'all. Let's go. Let's do this. So let's take a little chat in the chat poll to prime our brains with the following questions. Okay, so I just want you to type in the chat whether you agree or disagree with the following. We can learn anything new at any age. So type agree or disagree, A or B, with this. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of agreeing here. Absolutely agree, Stacy. Thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Okay, great. All right, so we can learn anything new at any age. So that might be obvious to you brilliant educators. That might not be as obvious to adults, all right, and particularly our adult students. Where there can be a stigma with learning, especially learning at an adult age, of that we're especially around language learning, I would say. But this is true also with academic learning and just learning new professional skills. So that's something that I hope to provide some resources and further and deeper our understanding of why that's not the case. Okay, or why it is the case, I would say, that we can learn anything at any age. So the second question here is, which is more important to achieving our goals? A, product, or B, process? What do you think about this? Okay, I'm seeing some B, some process. Okay, a lot of process. Again, I'm preaching to the choir here. That's very important to preach to the choir, because it's the choir that really, continues the message, right, and spreads the message to our own students, as well as our colleagues, as well as just the general population, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more deeply about this, about both of these kind of areas here, about the neuroplasticity of our brains, as well as the importance of focusing on process in learning. All right, thank you all for your participation in the chat. I feel you here. Okay, so for many years, scientists thought that the brain was fixed and couldn't adapt or change after childhood, right? This was known as the kind of critical language hypothesis, or the critical age hypothesis, specifically around languages. However, advances in functional MRI scanning of the brain have shown that this could not be further from the truth. We can now see that our brains change and adapt every day, regardless of our age, stage in life, or even perceived intelligence or ability. Every time we learn something new, we are harnessing the power of what is called neuroplasticity. So we're going to take a look at a short video that provides further understanding of neuroplasticity and how it relates to a model called AGES to maximize learning. So first we'll take a look at the video, and then we'll take a look at this AGES model. Okay, where is it here? Is this it here? This is it. All right. Let me see here. I think I'm having some issues. Let me reshare. Sorry, you guys. Let me reshare my audio here. Advanced. Make sure computer audio. Share sound. Let me see here. Let's try this again. Huh. For some reason, this is not, the audio isn't playing. Let me see. Give me 1 minute to see if I can fix this. Let me see here. No, that didn't do it. Come on. Yeah, let's see here. Thanks, Karen. So basically, what I'll do, let's play it here, and we'll just look at this visually. So basically, what this video is discussing is here. We'll see that we're talking about neuroscience and the nervous system, understanding that through the brain that we can kind of, it's not fixed, right? That throughout our adult period that we continue to learn. So every time we learn something new, we're harnessing the power of neuroplasticity. There are over 100 billion neurons in our brain, each capable of connecting to tens of thousands of others neurons, right, as the building blocks. And each one of these can make trillions of connections every second, right? So every time we learn a new skill, we make new connections between neurons. Every time we practice a new skill, right, then that is just strengthening these connections, right? And it becomes easier for our brains to follow this pathway. As we keep on using this pathway, our brains adapt to this new way of thinking, of doing, of being, and it becomes automaticity. The less we do something, the weaker it becomes. So we now term this neuroplasticity, meaning that our brains are plastic, right? We can grow, it can stretch, it can be able to shape and reform. All right, so I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to come to this model around this idea of neuroplasticity, and it's called the ages model, right? So there are the A in ages is attention, okay? To make the space to focus, reflect, apply, and analyze. So I know that we are all brilliant multitaskers. The issue is that when we have too many distractions or try to do too many things at once, this prohibits our ability to focus, reflect, apply, and analyze at deeper levels. Also, and perhaps most importantly, we're training our brains to function in ways that are not conducive to deep focus and deeper states of learning, right? So we are what we reinforce. If we're always kind of distracted and changing our focus, well, then our brain doesn't know any better, and it's reinforcing that habit. If we are, can kind of ignore that distraction or get rid of distractions while we're trying to focus on something, our brain reinforces that kind of attention and that focus, right? So working on attention, building those neural pathways that help us to develop our capacity to focus is the A in this ages model. G is for generation, right? Make it personal with meaning connection. So many of us teachers know the importance of building schema or background knowledge about the topic of learning. So this helps students connect to what they already know, to understanding the topic, and to accomplish a task. The poll we just participated in is an example, right? By asking you what you already know and think about the topic of learning. So these connections to the topic can increase interest and motivation, leading us to the next aspect of the model, emotion. So emotion can be considered as motivation. Motivation can be categorized as intrinsic motivation, doing something because it feels inherently enjoyable, and extrinsic motivation, doing something because of an external pressure or reward. However, there is another type of motivation called identified motivation. So this is where learners identify for themselves, all right? So this is coming internally from themselves, how something that is not very enjoyable and with little immediate reward aligns with their longer term goals. So research shows that people who can establish identified motivation actually have a better chance of accomplishing long-term goals that are challenging and not always pleasant. So I would categorize this into anything grand that we would want to accomplish, whether that's hiking, the Appalachian Mountain Trail or learning a new language. Teachers, of course, play a vital role in helping students identify and reinforce both internal and external motivations by engaging them in goal-setting activities in and out of the class that work towards those goals. And we're going to discuss some of these kind of goal-setting activities. And then finally, we have the S in the AGES model, and that's spacing, right? So reinforce and build on learning for longer term memory. So the key here is creating opportunities in and outside of the class to reinforce learning that builds and strengthens neural networks. It's not just enough to do the work in the classroom. We have to engage our students in developing learner autonomy and support them in reinforcing, engaging, applying what they're learning in the classroom outside of the classroom. I'm just coming over here to the chat. Thank you, Gonzalo, for that. We appreciate your adding to that explanation there as well. And I encourage you all to do so with your expertise. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my ad lib of the video too. All right, so with all that said, learning anything to an expert level can be especially challenging for adults who often have less time for immersive study. Knowing how to manage the challenges and stress of learning is also key to sustaining motivation to persist in the learning process. So persistence in class attendance and just coming to class, right, is one of the biggest challenges we and our students kind of face, right? Especially with adult learners who have a lot of challenges, to come to class, work, family, transportation, childcare. So additionally, recent research points to how certain areas of the brain grow when we engage in activities that we don't want to do. So specifically, that's kind of important, right? That, again, I'll say that recent research points to how certain areas of the brain grow when we engage in activities that we don't want to do. And I'll say that I'll add to that a little bit. These are activities that we know that are good for us, but we really don't want to do them. So we can think of this as the willpower aspect of our brains, right? To embrace the struggle and to see the struggle and the challenge as the way and not the obstacle to learning. So that's a real important kind of mind shift that I think that we all feel and know internally, implicitly, intrinsically. It's really important to discuss this, right, with ourselves for our own learning, as well as with our students who are engaging in such challenging endeavors. So this synergistic mindset protocol has been developed by a group of researchers from the University of Texas at Austin. And the protocol is a combination of two mindsets: a growth mindset, or the understanding that we all have the ability to grow and learn through persistent practice, right? That's kind of like what we were looking at there with that AGES model and neuroplasticity. And a stress is enhancing mindset. So this is an understanding that stress and failure are natural and necessary aspects of the learning process. I'm just thinking of my friend Jean-Marc here, who's in this. He's an Aikido, a student of Aikido. Talk about pain, right? Talk about being under stress, but embracing that stress to grow, to learn, to challenge oneself. So I have a lot of respect for my friend Jean-Marc. So following the synergistic mindset intervention, study participants reported less negative views of stressful academic events and their responses to their stressors. The intervention also improved cardiovascular responses to stress tests and reduced levels of cortisol, a hormone a hormone produced in response to stress. And I'm sure we've all felt this before any kind of performance, right? Before a presentation, before teaching a class the first day, before a first, date, whatever a kind of high stress situation might be, the sweating of the palms, the tightness of the chest. Furthermore, the findings suggest that the intervention improves participants' psychological well-being and academic success, as well as reduced anxiety. So basically, like engaging in this protocol, which we're going to do here in the next slide, I'm going to show you, of this synergistic mindset protocol, enables students that were involved in this study to embrace that feeling, right, of the adrenaline rush, of feeling kind of a bit of anxiety, and not being freaked out by that, but learning how to harness that energy, right, and knowing that it's all a natural part of the learning process. Again, the struggle is not the obstacle; it's the way. So analysis also indicated that the combination of these two mindsets are more powerful than either of the component mindsets alone. So that's saying that, growth mindset alone, just saying, hey, talking about neuroplasticity and that, hey, we all have the ability to learn and, kind of rainbows, right, is not as effective as saying, okay, yes, growth mindset, neuroplasticity, but also the struggle is real, okay? And that we're all going to engage with the struggle. It's going to be hard. It's not always going to be pleasant. And that is a natural part of the process of learning. Okay, so we are going to, thank you, Janice, doing it even when you're scared. And Gonzalo, embrace the pain and suffering, and it trains us to walk through it more confidently and strengthen our minds. Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for sharing that personal story. All right, so this is it. This is the synergistic mindset protocol. This is the exact protocol that was applied in this study. And this is the exact protocol that you can apply if you want, modify, enhance. But this is the mindset protocol. 4 steps. So the growth mindset plus stress is enhancing mindset protocol. So the first is recall and reflect a time when you experienced stress when learning and doing something new or out of your comfort zone, right? So how did you feel? Okay, so if you could just put in one word that describes kind of how did you feel the last time you were kind of pushed out of your comfort zone, the last time that you maybe experienced stress when learning or doing something new. Just drop a one word. Thank you. Overwhelmed, nervous, powerful. Yeah, when it was over. That's true. Okay. Yeah, feeling rushed. Anxious, toggled. Ooh. Okay, so a lot of these things aren't pleasant. So that's really good. So that's reflecting and recalling. Basically, this is kind of priming our participants that we're working with and kind of understanding, oh, wow, you're right. Yeah, okay, there's that stress, right? And then follow that up with rationale. So rationale by discussing neuroplasticity. So that rationale can just be playing a video like I just played for you, right? Understanding neuroplasticity, understanding that we all have the capacity to grow and to learn, no matter our age, no matter our station in life. The third is to reframe. So reframing our mindset about stress, right? Reframing our understanding that that stress is necessary and good, right? If it's done in a supportive kind of environment, which our classrooms are perfect, settings for this, right? So, one way that you can do this is just kind of providing a little bit of reframing rationale, so that everyone, no matter who you are, will struggle when you're learning something new. You can talk about some of your own experiences, and you can have that discussion with students. There will be things you don't understand, questions that you cannot answer, and things you will not initially be able to do. And when that happens, you're going to experience stress. And if you don't understand that stress, you'll think it means, oh no, I don't belong here, or I'm not able to do this. This is too hard. I'll never get this. I'm not, what am I doing here? You'll have all of these like thoughts of self-doubt. And we've all felt this way. Okay. I feel like this way. I think I have these thoughts come in my head daily, right? So I think all of us have these thoughts that come up in our head every day. But in fact, what this is that this stress is an indicator that we are pushing ourselves, that we are taking risks, that our understanding of things is being tested, it's being expanded, it's being deepened. And these are all signs that we're learning. Okay, so please let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Just let me know yes or no. Let me know if kind of all of that makes sense. So the last thing that we want to do is praise the process. So in our poll, we all understand that the process is important, but oftentimes we are stuck in patterns of only praising performance, right? Only praising the grade or the specific action. And that's all good. We should praise performance. But I think what we also need to do and make sure that we do consistently and consciously is to praise process, right? So this is where we're going to talk a little bit about these processes of establishing processes, and then making sure that we are reinforcing our practicing of the process, because that's really where the learning and the growth happens, is engaging in the process over the long run. It's just doing it. Okay, so now hopefully we've established an understanding and a mindset that we can all learn and grow. The next step is setting clear and smarter goals, right? That we want to work towards. So this acronym, SMARTER, is an approach to set ourselves up for success by creating the right types of goals or smarter goals. So what I'd like for us to do, well, I was gonna play a video. So actually what I'll do here is, let me see here. Let me actually go really quick to my system settings and see if that's an issue there with my audio. Let's see here. And if any of you have here we go, microphone output, let's see here. Here we go. Let's see if that's gonna do it now. Oh, yes, okay. All right, I figured it out, guys. I figured it out. All right, here we go. All right, let me do a share. All right, let's see if this works. You can learn anything. Happy goal setting. All right, let's back it up. Welcome back. So we've learned that it's important to keep working through your frustrations by using the right learning strategies. The more you
Remy, we really can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it still?
I mean, it's very light.
Oh, it's very light. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Thank you for letting me know, June. All right, let me go back here. Let me see sound, volume. Okay. All right, just hang in with me here. Audio settings, output volume. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I think you need to stop sharing, restart. Let's give that a try. Let's reshare. All right, let me know how the audio is now. Oh. That didn't do it. Okay. Okay.
We like your voice anyway, Remy.
Thanks, June. All right. All right. So, okay, no worries. So let's go back here and So we'll talk about here how to kind of write these SMART goals. We're actually going to kind of engage in it. So no worries. All right, so smarter goals. So let's look at these. So we have S for specific, right? So basically a goal should be linked to one activity, thought, or idea, okay? And I'm gonna show you an example, but first let's kind of go through these, all of these acronym here. So M is for measurable. A goal should be something that you can track and measure progress toward. A is for achievable or actionable, right? There should be a clear task or actions that you can take to make progress toward a goal. R is for realistic. A goal should be possible to achieve. And T is for timely. A goal should fall within a specific time period. Now I added these E and R, okay, for evaluate and reassess. So this isn't something that you set and forget. This is something that it's an iterative process, right? You try it out, you test it out, you experiment with it to see, and you modify as needed. So I just made one here as an example. Okay, and actually this is a document that I'm gonna paste here for you all. You're welcome to kind of add your own smarter goals, but I have one that I created and I'll share with you to kind of hold myself accountable. So what is the goal? Okay, so my goal here is specific, right? I want to write an article for an upcoming ESOL newsletter. Measurable. How will I measure progress? Okay, well, I'll commit to writing for 30 minutes daily. Achievable. And let me just say that measurable, you see how it's 30 minutes. It's not 1 hour. I might even say 10 minutes, right? Just to start. Because when we're first starting out something, it's good to start small. All right. So whatever it is, I say start small. Achievable. What are the specific tasks or actions? So I will set aside that amount of time daily dedicated to brainstorm, outline, and write the article. Realistic. How will I address challenges, right? So I will remind myself that it does not matter how much I accomplish on any given day, but that the commitment to the writing schedule is what matters. So we see there that I'm reinforcing the process. So timely, what is my schedule, right? What is my deadline? So I'm saying Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9. My deadline is a very set deadline because it's a newsletter article that I need to submit. There it is. Evaluate, how will I engage in feedback? Well, I'll read my progress aloud with my wife in the editing process, as well as collaborate with the newsletter editor for feedback. And reassess, when and what will I use? After I have submitted the article, I will reassess the process and learn from what worked and what I could adjust towards writing the article. Okay, so this is an approach. This smarter approach is something that I encourage you to apply yourself, and then bring it in class. If you're teaching right now, use this framework to kind of set these concrete, specific, measurable goals that you can write out. You can use it as a writing assignment, and then that you can weekly kind of check in on to see how they're doing, right? No judgment, but just to kind of check in, to provide some accountability, to provide some encouragement and motivation. Okay. So, all right. We're going to, well, I need a little mindfulness activity here after all those tech issues. So thank you for bearing with me. So we're going to try something that you might have heard of, but maybe haven't kind of practiced. And you might have heard of mindfulness, and you might be a practitioner of mindfulness or similar practices. So mindfulness is, as defined by Jon Kabat-Zinn, is paying attention in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. So as we can see from this definition, mindfulness can be exercised in many different ways. Through breathing, through walking, cooking, playing music, conversation, but in a more intentional and meta way, where we take the role of the observer of our surroundings, of our actions, of our emotions. So it's from this vantage point that we can more clearly see the bigger picture and meaning of ourselves, of our work, and creative solutions to life's challenges. By slowing down, relaxing, and focusing on the space around and within us, we activate our parasympathetic nervous system and enter a state of rest and relaxation. So as we can see here from this chart here, this initiates a shift in our brainwave patterns from gamma, okay, or beta. So right now I'm probably in a kind of heightened sense of awareness. So my brainwave patterns are very active, thank goodness. And what we want to do is we kind of want to slow it down here to this alpha state. Okay, so this alpha state, it triggers our parasympathetic nervous system again to rest, to relax. And what it does is it takes our focus from being very kind of focused right here, like I'm very much trying to focus on what I'm saying to you, and it expands our focus, right? So it's like floodlights, okay? And it's more of a kind of bigger view, okay, of the space, just like creatively in our minds and just our sense of space. So this kind of more relaxed, bigger sense of space, seeing the bigger picture, is the perfect mindset to be in when we're envisioning our goals. So what I would like to do with you is to guide you through a mindfulness activity where we apply the smarter approach that we just looked at to envisioning and cultivating goals. So if you are in a space where you can participate, let me just know here, and let me come back to the chat. I'm just reading here that David says mindfulness is a skill that helps us be more aware and accepting of our present experience without being distracted or overwhelmed by thoughts and emotions. Thank you, David, so much for adding to that. So let me know in the chat if you're able to participate in this mindfulness activity here for the next 5 minutes. So just let me know who's in it here with me. Okay, thank you, Christine, Stacy, Monica. Awesome. Okay. Beautiful, nice. So if you're able to kind of just sit back and relax, hey, if you're at home or in your office and you're able to lie down, go for it. Okay. If you're comfortable with it, you can close your eyes. You're welcome to keep your eyes opened, okay? But just try to maybe kind of relax your eyes. So either way is fine. The name of the game is to just be in the most kind of relaxed position you can be. Oh, great, June. Great. Okay. So yeah, if you like, you can dim the lights as well. Okay. So you guys can just let go here for the next couple of minutes. And I want you to continue to breathe at your current pace and draw your focus to your breath. And again, just observe, non-judgmentally. There's no wrong way to breathe here. There's no correct way to breathe. It's just breathing and just being conscious of something that's so essential to life, but something that we hardly ever really focus intentional attention to. So just observing your breath. Just listen to the space around you. Again, just listen non-judgmentally. Just listen. Now we can bring that attention to our body. Just observe how you're feeling. Again, non-judgmentally. Just observing. Starting from your feet, kind kind of bringing your attention to your feet and moving up your body slowly from your feet. Just feeling your feet, your calves, your knees. As you're moving up your body, just try to bring some relaxation if there's any kind of tension in any parts of your body. Again, just relaxing, observing, no judgment, just bringing attention and awareness to how we feel. You can even bring a little gratitude to your body for what it does for us every day. Again, just bringing your focus to your breath, just observing how you feel, any shifts in how you feel from when we first started this exercise. Staying in this space, staying relaxed, staying present here. I want us to envision what a goal is that you have. This can be any goal. It can be a specific goal to what we're focusing on today as far as improving our practice as educators. It can be a personal goal in your personal life as well. And this is up to you. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Again, no judgment here. Just observing what first kind of pops into your mind. And then envisioning how you could measure, right, your improvement of reaching that goal. How could you measure that on the daily or the weekly or the monthly? Try to see that method of assessment, of measurement. And see yourself taking action towards that goal. What actions do you see yourself doing daily and weekly? See yourself actually doing those things. And let's also envision what are some potential challenges that we might face along the way. And how do you see yourself addressing those challenges? See yourself addressing those challenges. Whether those challenges come internally or externally. Now see kind of what could be a deadline. When do you want to accomplish this goal? And then finally, how can you engage in feedback about this goal? Could you work with a friend, an expert, a mentor to get feedback? Who could that person be? Is that you? Is that someone that you know? Is that someone that you could reach out to? And then keep in mind and remind yourself that success isn't measured by the results, but by staying engaged in the process. And that is really what we're measuring, is our capacity to stay engaged in the process. All right, so just gradually coming back. Bringing some movement there. Hope that felt good. Feel free to share in the chat how you're feeling, how that was for you. I'm sharing a link. This is a Google document that I shared earlier, and this is where you can copy and paste and kind of use this as a template for yourself, and as well as use with your students and colleagues to engage in this visioning exercise. So again, I hope that you can even facilitate and lead others in a similar kind of activity. Just bringing some relaxation. I see here, Stacy, you're feeling centered. Well-being is so important to our cultivating our goals, and making sure that well-being and taking care of ourselves is central to that process, right? We have to take care of the goose, right? That we say that the goose and the golden egg. If we want to produce these golden eggs, if we want to produce, excellence, and we have to take care of ourselves, right? So engaging these kind of activities, whether it be mindfulness, meditation, going on walks, taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, all of these things are so critical to sustaining our ability to learn and to engage in the process. All right. So this is, again, all of these are hyperlinked. This is one of my favorite videos. I often share this video. This is a great video that you can view later, how to become 37.78 times better at anything. This is the summary of Atomic Habits video. And basically you see how if you just try to aim at being 1% better every day, right, then that over 365 days of the year, then by the end of the year, statistically, you will be 37.78 times better. If you do nothing, okay, over the year, you actually become worse. So the idea of Atomic Habits is to start, but to start small and to build habits, right? And so here are 3 quotes from the book. A slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. Success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. And this is another quote that's related. It's not from James Clear, Atomic Habits, but it's very much related. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And this is from historian Will Durant. Okay, Christine's sharing some music for meditation. Thank you, Christine. And any kind of links that you want to share, that would be appreciated as well. Okay, so habit formation. So one way that we can support our students, for example, in scheduling habits is through these prompts. So similar to what we did in that smarter mindfulness approach is how much time can we commit to, for example, learning English weekly? So just asking that question, how much time can you commit? What days and times would be the best for you to commit? So thinking about that, is it the morning? Is it the afternoon? Is it during lunch? Is it right before bed? Is it after putting the kids to sleep? Okay, so thinking about this. Who are the people that you can collaborate with to help you achieve your goals, right? So this is finding mentors, finding collaborators, and what resources can you can help you achieve your goals. So thinking about those kinds of resources and sharing those kinds of resources. This is also a resource, again, that I shared here. This is a box calendar. As you see here, what you can do is you can make a copy, right? And use this for yourself. You can also see, so you see it's basically breaking down a time schedule so we can start to plot our schedules, our work schedules, our study schedules, our workout schedules, our family, all of that stuff. It's basically like if it's not on the schedule, it just doesn't get done and other things take priority. So that's the philosophy behind these kind of box schedules, right? And the author of this provides a sample, right, that you can review, and again, you'll see there that everything, all the kind of aspects of our lives, whether that's social media or playing with our kids, or doing research, or having meetings, all of that is put on this calendar to really assess our day and to try to be more efficient and conscious and intentional with our time. Okay, so that's available for you to use. Again, it could be a good activity to do with colleagues and with your students. So if you want to get there fast, go alone. If you want to go far and enjoy the journey, go together. Okay, so this is my philosophy here with communities of practice, or COPs, as they provide community we need as social beings to learn from and with each other. So a community of practice is a group of people who have an interest, passion, or concern in common and come together to learn more about it. So as the name suggests, communities of practice collaborate and communicate, sharing knowledge between one another as a community. They have a shared identity that's built around a common interest. So these are these three kind of factors, right, that distinguish a community of practice from just kind of a regular group of friends or acquaintances. So these three elements. So domain, right? So domain is kind of like, our domain here is adult education, right? So this is an interest determined by us, but a specific domain could even be things like, the teaching of adult literacy, right? Or advocacy for teachers and students, or intercultural communication. Those can be different domains. The next is community. So this can be a community chosen around the domain, and this could be local, national, or international, right? So we're engaging in June, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. All right, so wow, okay, having some tech issues here, but we're gonna pull through this. So these communities of practice, this is one example of, if you wanted to create your own community of practice, this is this 3x3x3 model that can serve as a can pull through this before. All right, here we go. So this is the 3x3 model, 3 clear and immediate goals, a defined period in which to meet those goals, right? So it can be in 3 months, all right? And 3 people that you can collaborate with. So this is this 3x3x3 model. Now, if you, another excellent way to participate in a community of practice is actually to join a course. So where the domain, community, and structure is kind of already in place, right, to help support you in your professional development. So these are some professional development courses created at IPDAY with support from the Florida Department of Education and funding from the Federal WIOA Act. So these are free courses that are offered to adult educators, staff, and administrators. And so I encourage you all to consider this. If you are interested, you can contact our friends at IPDAY here at info@floridaipday.org. This link will be active, where you can see a webinar where I discuss some of these online kind of opportunities in more detail. But this is another option for engaging in professional development and engaging with a community of practice. Okay, so yeah, the links will all be there on the PDF. So once you once this is this webinar is finished and the video and PowerPoint are uploaded to the IPDA website, they will be there for you to access. Okay, so again, these are these resources. All of these are active links. And I want to spend just a couple of minutes here for questions that you all might have. So feel free to type any questions that you might have in the chat. Again, my apologies for all the technical issues, but we got through it. So while you're thinking about any questions or any comments that you might have, I encourage you to please stay connected with IPDA. Please stay connected with me. Our next webinar is going to be actually, as you're taking this feedback survey, I'm going to tell you about our next webinar with, it's actually with myself and with my colleague, John Mark Wise, for our webinar, Wise Approach to Designing Online Courses. That's going to be at the same time at 3 p.m. Eastern. So this session is really of benefit to anyone interested in learning more about instructional design of educational courses, right? So this can be to serve your students, to serve as professional development. John Mark and I will be talking about this wise approach to designing online courses. So again, my apologies for the tech issues. We got through it. Thank you all for being so gracious. Thank you, Stacy. I really appreciate that. The author that I referred to about willpower is, again, that's going to be the willpower that actually, if you, let me kind of go back here. Okay, this applying a growth mindset. If you heard of Andrew Huberman, he's a neuroscientist out of Stanford. It's a great podcast, and that's on YouTube as well as through podcast. If you look up some of his recent work, I believe the interview I saw with him where he cited this research was with an interview with David Goggins. So you can look that up. This is really brand new research that's looking at the brain and the brain growth, engaging in these kinds of activities, again, that are that people know that they're good for them, but they're really not enjoyable and they really don't want to do them. But the more that we do them, this is when growth in these areas occurs, and leading to greater willpower, greater persistence. Okay, everybody, thank you again for your attention. Happy New Year to you all, and I'll see you next week.